Hi, my amazing souls. It's your blissful soul, Katrina WW4 Wadigo. I welcome you to today's vlog where we are going to learn more about SDGs and preparation for the World Disability Day coming up on 3rd of December. Welcome.
My name is Omira Nyaboke Zipora. I'm a newbie literally in this space and also the entire disability space. Uh, I'm not under any. I'm not under any. I'm a disability self-advocate. Yeah. My favorite SDG goal is gender equality. Oh, for siku introduce, I'm wearing blue trousers and a brown shirt. Shirt. Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Sarah Busibodi. I am an autistic adult. I work for Enable Me Kenya. Um, nafanya projects mingi sana, but I would say my favorite SDG goal is goal number 4, which is quality education. As a neurodivergent myself, we rarely get if education for us it's a bit hard to get. Why? Because neurological conditions such as cerebral palsy, autism are not really known in society as much as we want it to, and we believe education is key, and that is why um, I would say I'm a living testimony of to be one of the neurodivergent who's a bit has knowledge and is exposed to some things in the quality of education. Yes, what I'm wearing is a jumpsuit, floral jumpsuit with a grey cardigan. Yes, and I'm happy to be here.
Good morning all.
Good morning.
Naona kusimama sijui ni trend. Sana nasimama tuliona follow the leader. My name for the few we've not interacted, I am Katrina Wanjiko. I'm a advocate for persons with disability. I do content creation on YouTube, highlighting different types of disability. So I did that so that the society stops viewing persons with disability as Waishe people. Because I found out the society only knows the ones they see begging on the streets. And I was there to tell them those are mostly not even Kenyans. Yeah. They are the ones who are brought here by some wicked people, yeah, to work for them. But sisi wa Kenya, kujituma tu. Kujituma is our slogan. It's a national slogan. So whether we are PWDs or not, we always do our best to make the little of the much that we can. So that is why I got into the space. Also, because we don't have awareness, and unfortunately disability tunasemanga it's an open club, anyone can join. So most people when they are born without a disability and then they come and get it later in life, that transitioning is always a problem. Yeah, or someone gets a child, like we were somewhere and someone of yeye ako sawa but happened to give birth to a child with albinism. Do you know what that lady used to do? Ati alikuwa anamwanika kwa jua imchome ya turn black. Yeah. So when we create this awareness, these people know, at least anajua, oh, I saw on a certain channel, YouTube channel, ukizaa mtoto wako na albinism, it's normal, ni mapenzi ya Mungu. This is how I can take care of that child na atakuwa sawa. Yeah, so that's what pushed me. Nimeacha kupreach. My favorite my SDG yenye napenda sana. I think I can say climate action. Yeah. Because when the environment is bad, no food, no nothing, nivo sumation. Yeah, so that's why I've been saying a lot in that space. Let's go green, let's take care of our environment because we really owe it to ourselves and the generations to come. Yeah, and as a short stature, sijui about you, climate action will affect terribly. Our immunity were a bit lower than the other people. So it's very passionate to us. Thank you.
What's your YouTube channel?
Exactly.
Oh, sorry. My YouTube channel is my name, Caterina, Katerina, and then space W. Now that W is for Wanjipo. That's my YouTube channel. Actually, that's my name across all social media. So mtajipata hapo leo. Ama nitaweka wewe Monday or Saturday. Hi, I am Marianne Mary from UDPK. And anakuanga in charge of communications. My favorite SDG goal is number 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. So mnaona tu hata vitu wanafanya. Yeah. I love innovations especially around assistive technology. Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, all.
Morning.
My name is Moses Wakabu. I am a PWD champion or lead at YALI, that is Young Africa Leadership Initiative, together with my sister here, Sana Bosibwali, where we are advocating for the issues to do with persons with disability within YALI, Kenya chapter, and also I'm a data analyst. Thank you.
Nairobi, and so that is for the Coca-Cola value chain. And for the Coca-Cola value chain, we work to empower women with disability. Is there any participant here who is in that value chain? A retailer who is selling Coca-Cola? You're in cohort 1 or cohort 2? Cohort 1. With support from two organizations, that is UDPK and TechnoServe. Then for the EADL value chain, we work with the East Africa Breweries Limited, and we work with the farmers without disability, and also with the, of course, they're focusing on work, but also encouraging women farmers to plant solar. And for the EADL value chain, we implement in 3 counties, that is Homa Bay, Migori, and we've now progressed in one sub-county in Kisumu. So apart from that, the partners, the key partners who work for the labor, the flow of the labor program, include Future, UDPK. We have UDPK, of course, they deal with the matters to do with disability inclusion. Then secondly, we have coaching. I don't know if anyone of you here has ever attended a labor rights training. So the focus is empowering the program participants and the trade unions as well as the organizations of persons with disability on matters to do with labor rights. Then we have KEFIADO. It's a long one. It's Kenya Women Advisory Organization, which focuses on matter gender and gender inclusion, just to ensure that even if we implement this program, we are also looking into matters of gender equality and with a gender lens, and just to ensure that there is inclusion in that.
Then apart from that, we have innovation action, IPA, which focuses on matters to do with research. And I think if you're one of the program participants, probably they will just interact with you. But it is random. So those are that's the organization that has conducted the baseline for this program. Then in year 3, now we're going to move forward to doing our midline survey just to see the impact of the program. If the program participants are really aware of their labor rights. Then further to that, we have another organization, the People Right Trust, which is not in Kenya. It is based in the UK. And that one looks at matters of policy. Um, Policies, like for example, the current bill that you're pushing, that is the disability bill. There are the people who are actually their rules when it comes to laws and discrimination, matters to do with discrimination. So far with that, we have already published the legal framework analysis, which was done some time back, and the disability, we are working through KEDIPA, which is pushing that agenda. So it has already been presented to the Senate, so tunangoja kuona itafika wapi. Then apart from ERT, we have an organization known as LINK, that's LinkedIn. That one just deals with how to see how the interaction between the few, not only partners within the consortium, tunasema wale wako huko nje, but they can contribute to the program and to see how best we can learn. We can learn, tunasemaje, how we can cross-learn, because this program is about adaptation. So they usually do actual learning sessions with farmers. They've already started with farmers. We do it and do have it just with their learning, so that we improve the program.
I would first want to share my story. I was born in the 70s. Disability, even to our parents, was not understood. I went to a normal school. I was bullied in school, called all sorts of names. And I saw there was a gap, but I couldn't express. Because even my own parents got to a space where they called me names like I'm useless, and that sort of put down my self esteem. So for me, I came to learn about this disability day in the year 2000, where I hosted a number of people in my house because most of those people were either locked out by their tenants because they did not have a place to stay or they did not have a job to pay for the house. So when I realized I had that passion, I took it upon myself to stop you even on the road to ask what your story is like. There are those who are willing, and there are those I still work with to date because I realize there is a gap. Nobody understands the space of disabilities. And in this space, I would want us to also uh, have a learning curve for especially caregivers. And it starts from home, our parents, because in that space, that's why children are hidden. They do not want to accept. Those who are having institutions set up forums for caregivers so that when they meet and interact, like we are doing to speak about our issues, they can be able to see they are not alone. This is a very important space, and it's not that we should have it only when there is an important day like now, but we should have it more often so that we are able to interact. Because in our own small spaces, this is the best place you can be because you're interacting with somebody who can be able to feel you, who can be able to understand what you're going through. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. And thank you for opening up yourself to us. Okay. Um, And persons with disability face a lot of stigma. And it's and quite unfortunate that at times stigma just starts at home. Yeah? So my question then would be, why is it important for us to have this? I'm coming to a celeb here, Joseph. So I'll start with Joseph.
Yeah, so my name is Joseph again. Why it's important to have this particular day? I think it's important as persons with disability to remind ourselves that we have a long journey to go, and there are things that we have not achieved. There are processes that are still pending. Like I was in an SDG forum the other day, and one of the things that came about is that the person, the people who represent us in the Interior Ministry in terms of planning is the National Council for Persons with Disability. But I was asking myself, who in the National Council for Persons with Disability represents us in the ministry? And from the ministry to the Interior Ministry for planning purposes. So I was just asking myself, is that person representing us a person with disability? The fact that he will mind the needs and the budgeting part of it, because some of our problems are in the processes of budgeting that we are not included in. So this day is very important, not just for us, but for the purpose of even reminding other stakeholders and even the government and even the whole world in particular that there are these people with other persons with disability in this world, and there is need for them for the world to remember the need for them. You know, they are not just we are in the space. We are not just somewhere. We are in that space, and we should be included in every aspect. Of our livelihood and their livelihood as well, because we live in the community.
So Joseph says it's important to remind the rest of us that persons with disabilities live within the community, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it's important for us. And then I'm coming to us later. Why is it important to have this International Day for persons with disabilities?
It is important because I know, for those who are wondering, mbona ananiita celeb, I'm an artist, YouTuber. I also do social media marketing, that is brand influencing for brands. But you will find when I'm looking for these brands, because sometimes you have to go out there and approach them, they would rather give that position to an able-bodied person than to you the minute you will mention you're a person with disability. So you are like, kwani ni nini huyu celeb able-bodied anafanya siwezi fanya, kama ni simu, si wote tuna simu. I can do your influencing via the phone. I've been doing it, but the minute you mention you're a person with disability, opportunities become scarce for you. Yeah. When they have events, I have even approached a very big person in the country, ako kwa ministry. Like when you're giving out easy opportunities, when they have events, they call artists, they call other creators. And I told him, so this is what I do, and this. Na mkiwa nini kwa TV mnasema we come out, we showcase our talents, kuna hizi opportunities. But for us mlango unafungwa. Why? So when we have this day, it is good for first within ourselves, because when I started this year doing vlogs about disability, I found that sisi wenyewe, there are a lot of us that have not yet fully accepted ourselves and our disability. Yeah, so you'll find someone anakwambia, Katrina, okay, tutafanya my interview siku fulani, and then they go Mia on you. Or others, you will even do the interview very well. Aki umejituma, or you have used your resources and all that. And then unaenda una edit. Venye nasikia ina come on air siku fulani, ona delete tu. I'm like, really? So we have not also come to that place of self-love, self-acceptance, and all that. So we need such days to remind ourselves we are not a curse. Yeah, Mungu alikuwa na vijisababu vyake why we had to be this way. Two, for our caregivers, you know, for those who depend on caregivers, I think tumejililia sana, we forget what these people also go through, because some of them have to leave everything aside now to tend fully to us. Yeah, and it's not easy. Kama we inakulemea na ni wewe uko nayo, imagine this person mwenye ako sawa, so ako like haki ya nani huu mzigo, you know, maybe anaambianga Mungu nisiondolee hiki kikombe. Yeah, but some of them are loving. For those who are fortunate enough to have those that are loving and accepting, ama hata kama unamlipa ndio sababu wana take care of you, but we need those people also need to be recognized, their mental states and all that. And the other thing ni maybe even it should go to our OPDs and all that. You have seen what the larger society is doing. When they have their activities, they will call the able-bodied performers. But we have us, sisi tuko na artists amongst us, tuko na dancers, tuko na digital creators and all that. Sasa jua tupe hiyo opportunity kule, si mkuwa mnatupea si nyinyi, you know. Yeah, like tuseme for example ni UDPK, which is a very good example. You see their digital content, creators wako hapa. Hawakuenda wakachukua mtu huko mwenye ako able bodied juu tungesema mnatuchocha nyinyi pia mko inclusive, you know. So we'll pray that when you even have events, because some of us, our talents, our giftings, they die with us because we're not getting those opportunities out there. So that day is important to remind us, to awaken us. Maybe tunaweza sema si next time tukiwa na meeting kaa hii isikuwe tu all meetings, tuanze na some performances, you know, and then tunapea our very own those opportunities. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Nimeongea a lot. Hata siwezi summarize.
See, maybe.
The critical issue is that it also creates some form of awareness amongst us.
Yeah.
For those of us who probably haven't accepted themselves, and for us to show that we are also part of the society. Yeah. As she says, celebrating different talents among persons with disabilities. Whatever we are able to do, at least for that day to come and showcase, right?
Yeah.
Because it's up to when you understand the importance of that day that you can be able to bring meaning to it. So there are three main, I can say, objectives of this day. One of the objectives is to raise awareness of among persons with disability. The second very critical or big objective for this day is at least to draw attention on the importance of inclusion. The third is to mobilize support for the critical issues affecting persons with disabilities. As persons with disabilities, at times we feel we can't present our issues without shouting. Okay?
It's our country, it's our system. Mnyonge ukikuwa mnyonge, ukikuwa mpole, it goes nowhere.
Okay.
These hawkers wenye wamekuwa wakiharasiwa huku, nini imewasaidia? The noise tumepiga kwa media, that's when Sakaja comes out.
Okay.
Lakini enda ukambishie kwa ofisi sahi, utazunguka 2 years.
Okay. So I take what Alex is saying and Esther is saying from the rights. Yeah? Like we know our rights, and that's why we articulate a lot on our rights. And I like having that discussion because I tell people, so imagine someone who has been shut down of all opportunities, okay? Or you've been locked somewhere, maybe in this room, yeah? And you need to eat, you need to visit the washroom, you need to take a bath, okay? So how would you get out of this room?
You have to. Yeah.
So there will be a lot of scream, okay? There will be a lot of banging of the door, you know. There will be attempts of breaking the door. And that's why maybe persons with disabilities, they come off as combative, okay? When we were introducing ourselves, we introduced ourselves and said our favorite sustainable development goal. Senior?
Yes.
And each of us has said why it's favorite to them. So, these sustainable development goals our goal set for all of us is humanity, is how we want to achieve dignity amongst ourselves. And then it cascades from that international UN level, maybe we talk about, and then it comes down to the national level. And in the national level, the person responsible is the president. Yeah, and the president comes and sets the economic agenda, sets the social agenda, sets the political agenda. So in the political agenda is when we'll have things like representation, who is appointed as an MP to represent persons with disabilities. In the counties, who are the MCAs, who represent persons with disabilities. And it's diverse because it's also in the parastatals we are looking for who are appointed in what boards and how that affects us. Sindio? Coming to the economic structure. The economic structure, the president set out the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. So this bottom-up thing, it's something that is very structured, okay? And they call it the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, or the BETA, BETA. Okay? The bottom-up economic transformation agenda. And they set out some targets on how they are going to do it. They set up processes on how they are going to do it. One of those processes is for you to get the Hustler Fund. Yeah? The Access Hustler Fund. The Access Hustler Fund. Yeah. That is part of that, the BETA, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. And then we'd like to know, like how many persons with disabilities are accessing these loans? Which SDG would that fall? SDG 8. An economic what? An economic growth. Yeah. So the national plan, they believe that when an individual is empowered, when an individual is able to access capital, when an individual is able to, access that small grant at their level, they'll be able to grow themselves. So that the government has pledged as well. I saw recently in the news that the government has set aside, I can't remember the figure, but some billions to build classrooms. Okay? To build classrooms within, I think, the next year or 3 years. So, which SDG would that be promoting? Education, right? So, how are persons with disabilities affected by education? Yes.
First, many persons with disabilities are affected in the education, in accessing education, because as where I see it right now, I don't think like I can have some data on how many inclusive schools we have in Kenya. Yes, so we don't have actually inclusive education in our country. Yeah, and that affects persons with disabilities because mainly what we have right now, I think it's integrated schools, which is something that we want to move away from it. Yes.
And that is SDG number 1.
Inclusion.
Number 4. SDG number 4 says what? Quality.
Education.
I like that. It doesn't say education, it says
Quality and inclusive.
And most persons with disabilities have just gone through education. And the part of the quality is missing. We have a directorate of special needs education in the Ministry of Education, okay? So, and the director there is a person with disability. But guess how many people work under that director?
Him.
Okay?
Yes.
So, is that a critical issue that we need to focus on? Is the directorate enabled to do its mandate? Or is there just one director and like 3 other people working with them? and they have to look at special needs education nationally, and then the allocation of resources to that directorate.
And after that, my loves, it was time for group work. This was my group, and each group was to work on an SDG. Like for our group, we were dealing with SDG number 4, which talks about quality and inclusive education. We were to find the gaps it has when it comes to persons with disability, the duty bearers, and the message we want to send to them, like what we want them to change, how we want them to fix those gaps. So among the gaps that we came up with, and I was the one presenting, but it was going to be long because we had 5 groups. So I'll just share with you the one I did, and then we will call it a wrap. So on goal number 4, some of the gaps we have is that disability is misunderstood by the mostly teachers that we have. So our schools are not very inclusive. Who do we think the duty bearer is? That's the county government, because they introduced the ECD, what we are calling, and the CBC, but it did not bring into consideration children with disability. So we would like the teachers to be trained how to deal with children with disability so that we can have them in the schools with the other kids. We want to move from integrated schools to inclusive schools. Therefore, we were asking the county government in charge of the ECD, is this CBC thing, please have the teachers trained to accommodate these children. Also, something I'm passionate about petitioning is, and the Ministry of Education, in partnership with every other player, every other partner in the government, Treasury and everyone, make education free from kindergarten all the way to the university for persons with disabilities, because it is expensive for us and our caregivers, and that is why most persons with disability are intelligent, yes, but they have not gotten an opportunity to go to school because of the fees that are there. And yes, we know there is capitation, but it is not enough because most come from very poor backgrounds, and those that have caregivers, their caregivers have to abandon everything to cater to these children. Therefore, it still is not reasonable for them, the fees that are put there, even considering capitation. So my plea is for the education to be free for persons with disability from every sector. And with that, my loves, we will see you in the next video. I hope you have liked. Do share so that we reach as many people as possible. And also remember to leave me a positive comment, and enjoy International Day of Persons with Disability. Make a change where you can. Remember, I do love you. Adios.